So we are directly jumping to the next next presentation, which is being held by Dr. Bernhard Niedermeyer. He's head of emerging technologies at Cloudflight, and he's talking about cost-efficient AI technologies, and in this context, why AI platforms could not be enough AI platforms in the market, as the competition is generating new values and insights, I guess. So we are very interested in listening to your considerations regarding these issues. The stage is yours.
Okay, thanks for the introduction. Hello, everyone, even during lunchtime. Thanks for joining me also at that time. I have had a quick look at the participants list, and I've seen there are several or many data scientists amongst you. There's a quick warning. My talk will not be a really technical one. It will be whether a talk on the strategic level or on the requirements engineering and business analysis level. So hope you will nevertheless enjoy it. If you afterwards have more technical questions, please reach out. I'm available for anyone to contact me. So who am I? Let me quickly introduce myself. My name is Bernhard Niedermeyer. I'm involved with machine learning for almost 15 years now. I've started in academic research, where we've been applying machine learning techniques to audio processing. To precise, it's been topics like when you've got an audio recording of a piece of music, you want to find out and identify the notes that have actually been played, and other topics like music recommendation, music similarity, playlist recommendation, and so on. I've joined the private sector in 2012 at Cloudflight. Cloudflight is a custom software developer. We're about 400 people at the moment. We're starting at the consulting part, where we identify together with companies how and where to apply software and AI, in particular to their business processes, where you have really a distinguishing value out of it, and then, of course, design and deliver and also operate those solutions. I had the honor to build up not only a team, but really a business segment around AI from scratch, which has been going obviously in the last years as the topic became more and more relevant. I'm really sorry that we can't meet in person due to the general situation, but I've put my contact details here, and once more I want to emphasize that I'm really open. If you have more questions afterwards, please connect and just reach out to me. And with that being said, let's start with the actual talk. And it's really a motivation towards machine learning platforms and towards professionalizing machine learning up to the level where, let's say, classical or more traditional software development is already. To give you more of a motivation for this, I've put a Bitkom survey here about the usage of AI in Germany, and you see it's in use last year at 6% of all companies. You see a very good increase in there. But to be honest, we're data scientists, so let's have a look at the data and at the visualization. And when you put the visualization a bit differently, when you normalize the scales, it doesn't look too optimistic or too good though. And in 6%, it's quite a low number given the high potential of AI and given the circumstances where many talk about AI as the new electricity, enabling so many more applications on top of it. So why is this the case? And thanks Bitkom for also asking that question in your survey and asking companies why they have not been applying AI yet and why it's not in place there. It turned out when looking at the top 3 reasons, about half of the companies claimed that they don't have the right team to introduce AI. They don't have the the skills. And an easy answer to that would be to just ask you to come to us or to other service providers who help you to introduce AI. But that would be too easy, to be honest. And it would also, from our point of view, not solve the topic. As also we are struggling in hiring enough people who have the right skills. The labor market is also difficult there. So our take on this is to really lower the entry barrier into AI. So instead of course, education and training is very important, but it's not the only measure that needs to be taken. The other measure that needs to be taken is to really enable software engineers who have not the deep knowledge or not the long-term experience in AI to also apply those techniques and to also get into this field. And our vision really is that in the near future, every software development team will have AI skills and AI knowledge on board. And to enable it at that scale, you really need to work on the entry barriers. Another reason, number two reason for not applying AI is no time. Here you need to differentiate a bit whose time we're talking about when we're talking about the time of the developers and the data scientists. We're coming back actually to the first point. So by lowering the entry barrier, you might have more people who are able to work on these topics. But on the other hand, another aspect here is speed and efficiency. So we also, as another reason for introducing platforms, we see an important leverage in just speeding up teams in what they're doing by taking away routine tasks from them in data science also, and having this managed by a platform. And this also applies to the third reason, namely no budget. So also, in order to make AI solutions cheaper, we have a very strong claim towards introducing platforms. Also, regarding that third point on budgets, let's have a look at the economics of AI, and don't get angry with me because this example is really trivial what I'm saying here. But bear with me until I come to the argument. When thinking about AI usage, we need, of course, to think about the value it has for the user, for the company who is facilitating it. And when you look at a large, let's say, insurance company with millions of insurance cases per year, when you save only a minute per case by an AI system, that gives you a lot of a leverage. When you are a medium enterprise only, this draws a completely different picture. And this makes us as a service provider struggling. Why does it make us struggling? Because for many companies or for many challenges, we do see AI solutions, and we do see solutions where we say we could develop this, we could train this AI and it would help you, but to be honest, it wouldn't pay off for you. The ROI calculation would just not be a good one. And this is where standard products have their place, but when you really at your core business where you need a customized and individual solution, then this becomes an important topic. And this is a point where we see many AI initiatives being stopped, unfortunately, because of that ROI, which again brings me to the point that AI just needs to be cheaper in the development and much more efficient still in development. What's in the line of the argument, how can we make it cheaper by standardization? And AI, as you know, there are many fields that are still under ongoing research, but there are others that are mature enough to be standardized. And Some examples, for example, from the image domain are classification or object detection, where of course algorithms are still developed and still improved, but the general pipeline or the workflow of how to train an image classifier, that's major enough to be standardized, or an object detector. That's a well enough known challenge to really be supported by tools, be supported by platforms, and really speed up. Also, other examples from the speech domain. When you have document classification, text classification, or named entity extraction, also those fields are well known well enough to introduce standards and tools and really support people there in development. No ops, low ops, and so on. In a bit of a provocative statement here, with only those 4 tasks that I've mentioned as examples, I guess every company we know could profit already. I've put it probably here such that you don't need to think about examples where I'm wrong, and it's really meant to be a bit provocative, and just once again claim how much you can reach by standardization. So with those standard machine learning tasks and knowing that the platforms could speed up your development process, what are the requirements to such a platform, and how do you really actually speed up development then? Here I've drawn a picture of a classical software development process as of Scrum. You have sprints, you have a backlog, you do a planning. In machine learning, supervised machine learning here, the picture looks a bit different. You have the data acquisition, you need to manage this. You have data annotation, which is a quite laborsome task. You do some experimentation, then you might go back to the data aspect when you recognize you need more data. But in the end, it's not as plannable in the way you used to plan a classical software development, and also the tools are a bit different. Where you manage source code for classical software development, here you not only need to manage a version source code, you also have data and annotations that need to be under version control, etc. So the picture looks a bit different, and from that we derived our very simplified a sketch or architecture sketch of such a platform. We have data management, so the data aspect is one a central piece. You have the very labor intensive annotation is one big part, and then of course the entire learning and model validation on top. This is all on the development side, and then on the model inference and usage side, that's separated a bit, where you can also, in terms of technology that you're using, choose a bit different setting and setup. We have been developing our own platform, and of course we have been asked the question, why are you doing this? There are so many others around. And for the last minutes of the talk, I will give you reasons why we needed to do this, and why this is still also for others a good idea to care about your own machine learning platform. And I will take some of the steps of the machine learning process as examples, and let's start with data acquisition. You have data set or data management as one important task to be covered by a platform, and you might have some specifics in your data. One example that we know of would be Earth observation, where you have satellite data, images, you might say, but not classical RGB images, but ones with more channels depending on the instrument. So you you don't have data that doesn't fit into the typical asset types. You need to import and convert data from your sources that might be highly individual. You have data generation as an important aspect where, depending on your domain and given all your domain expertise, you might want to augment the real data you have acquired with some generated data, which is a highly customized thing in many use cases. Also, you need your platform to reflect on your workflow that you have developed as a company, and also often contractual constraints laid upon you by your customers or your clients. With data, once you have it in supervised learning, you have annotation is the big part that comes next. I'm skipping pre-processing here. You need efficient tooling for it. Of course, there are many also platforms focusing, or even companies focusing on that. You have AI-assisted labeling, and again, even more important here, user roles and permissions. You might need to outsource labeling to external experts on that topic, or maybe cheaper workforce, Mechanical Turk, for example, just to mention one example. Then at the heart of it, you have the training, of course. Depending on the infrastructure you're working upon, you need to schedule. You might use hyperscalers to get your GPU resources, but when you rely on your own data center, you might need some intelligent scheduling to manage your resources efficiently. You need to persist all your training artifacts, and here I want to mention versioning on all those parts of the picture. And what we also apply, I call it expert moderated training parameterization. And this is where I said I want to lower the entry barrier into machine learning. So we have our experts moderating the process, like suggesting hyperparameters or recommending hyperparameter sets, recommending specific algorithms for certain tasks, such that people with less experience can rely on this and get their first shot on a new task. And only if the result is not satisfying, then the experts can come into play and enhance on that. And of course, you have deployment in the end, where in the ideal case, you in a microservice architecture, you get a fully a self-contained Docker image out of it that has your inference integrated. So what are the takeaways? What do I hope that you take away from this talk? Machine learning platforms are an important tool to increase your efficiency and to lower the entry barrier into AI on the skill level as well on the budget level. And I really hope and I see machine learning platforms as the means to increase the usage of AI overall companies and potential users. Also, do not reinvent the wheel. Rely on standardized pipelines for doing a first shot. You can iterate on it anyways if this is in the end not satisfying. And as a last point, really use machine learning platforms to bring your data science workflows to the same level of professionalism as we are knowing from classical software development already that has been built up over the last decades. And with that takeaways, I want to conclude my talk and once again invite you for any follow-up discussion.
Yes, thanks a lot. Feel free to connect to Mr. Niedermeyer in advance of this presentation. Maybe one very short question to you. A few sentences regarding experiences you have seen within companies building their own AI governance, AI frameworks based on those things? And how does this influence like internal HR setups, internal knowledge setups, like as they build knowledge by developing those things, by setting up those governance and architecture designs?
Yeah. So when you set up such a design, I also see this as a chance to onboard new people into the topic of AI. We've experienced that when building a platform, in addition to the AI core, where you really develop your machine learning pipelines, you have a lot of accompanying software development around. You have the application around it. You have the platform foundations. And this makes many software developers who have not been in touch with the topic before really curious and driving them into the topic already. So I also see it beneficial there to broaden knowledge and broaden awareness of the topic. Same for data governance. Yeah.
Thanks a lot for these very interesting insights. And feel free to connect, as I said, and enjoy connecting and networking on Big-Data.AI Summit. See you soon. Goodbye.
Thanks for having me. Bye.